We have Todd Magel in to talk about sort of the timeline of this and that massive law enforcement response, which was so tense in those moments.
It was, Alex and Eric. The dispatch recordings that you're going to hear show a calm, professional, but clearly a very concerned law enforcement effort to deal with this school shooting. The emergency radio traffic began shortly after 7:30, as we mentioned, around 7:37 this morning. Now, what you will hear next is a combination of Dallas County Sheriff's dispatchers, deputies, and EMS personnel as that first report went out.
All units, Dallas County. We've got an active Sears activation at Perry High School. Active Sears activation at Perry High School. It's going to be in reference to a possible gunshots at Perry High School.
Sworn direct, you have access to the cameras.
We're getting pulled up now. Somebody down in the hallway. Copy. We see something on the west hallway. What channel am I switching to? There's blood on.
We have a male subject down in the hallway. Appears to be self-inflicted. Gunshot wound. Unsure on other victims. Now, a subject that's down is deceased.
Copy. Subject down, deceased. And location?
We are outside of room 308.
They need multiple ambulances, so we're going to need both other EMS units headed that way.
Do we have a number of victims? Or an estimated number of victims?
Copy. We're getting multiple reports.
Dallas 593. Let's go ahead and put both the helicopters en route. Also, let's get Perry Fire there so that we can have landing zone and we can start triage.
We've got 2 patients in our ambulance. Can you reserve a helicopter for me?
How many patients do we have on scene?
Unknown at this time. We have 2 in our truck. Reports of multiple inside.
Dallas, has Polk County been advised to advise all the hospitals of a possible mass casualty incident?
Copy. We're calling them now.
The middle school has been cleared. Officers are doing a secondary sweep.
So we've got triage area currently. He's advising no other incoming units need to come into the school right now.
I am in command of EMS transport. We believe that we have our most critical out.
Now, that's just the arc of sort of what happened. The entire exchange took about an hour. We've edited that down. And what I think you can take away from that, it seems clear that at least 2 people, as we've been reporting, were injured with multiple gunshot wounds. That came in some of the dispatch dialogue, and that it appears, based on that dialogue, that the shooter did die in a school hallway. Alex?
Yeah, Eric, Jody Long and I have been here for about 2 hours now. Right now, we're just south of the high school at Willis Avenue and Blue Jay Drive. Just about a block away behind me, you can see all the law enforcement that is still here, the sea of blue and red flashing on the top of the cars. In our time being here, we've spoken to quite a few people who are connected to the situation. The first one was a man whose son is a sophomore here at Perry. That would be Xander. He was a sophomore, like I said, and he told Jody that one of the bullets grazed his back, and he showed pictures to us, and you could just feel the emotion in his voice and physically see it as well. He held his phone out, and his hand was shaking as tears started to well up in his eyes, and that's one of the important parts of this situation that we're taking into account here, that not only are we getting information here in real time, but we're also feeling and seeing that emotion in real time as well. Another woman I talked to said her daughter was a staff member here at the high school and heard the shots, took shelter in her office. That's when she texted her mother, who was up in Glidden, drove down to Perry when she heard. She texted her mother, "Mom, I'm safe." And her mom obviously didn't know exactly what that meant at the time. She responded and said, "Why?" And then she got the text that she said no mother ever wants to receive. It was one word, and it said shooting. And that's when she turned her car around from heading to work in Glidden and drove here to Perry. And she got one more text from her daughter right then that said at the school. And as I was talking to her, probably about an hour after she received those first texts, maybe an hour and a half, she got another text from her daughter that said, "I'm fine." That woman that I talked to left me at that point and went to the McCreary Recreation Center, where a lot of the reunions are happening between parents and families of staff members and students. Another woman, Jody just told you about a half hour ago, walked up to us and looking like she wanted to say something, and we asked her, "Are you okay?" And Jody started to put her arm around her, and her head went down and tears started falling, and she said, "No," and she started to walk away. So we're seeing and feeling a lot of that emotion with the people here in Perry today, and there are still a lot of stories, a lot of people who are going through the same things that those people are going through, and we're doing our best to talk to those people as this situation is still ongoing. These emotions are still very raw. They're coming out in real time for a lot of the people here in the Perry community. They're going through it right now, to say the least, but we're going to do our best to stay on top of it here in Perry.
We wait, and she's looking under the door, looking for the feet. She's trying to keep us calm. People are calling their parents, friends, and then we hear, "He's down. You can go out." And I run, and you can just see glass everywhere, blood on the floor. I get to my car, and they're taking a girl out of the auditorium who had been shot in her leg.
Okay. Sounds just like a nightmare. How many people were with you?
There were 3 students and our counselor in the tiny little room that she has.
And you were inside the high school?
I was.
Do you remember what time? Was this before classes started?
It was before classes had started, and thank God, because I can't imagine all of the students passing period, just the open bodies that would have been open.
My first call was at 7:30, and official word wasn't until 7:40, I believe. The kids were scared and came running. I know that there were over 100 at the Rainbow building down the street from my building. Everyone else, I think, kind of scattered.
And of course I want to call my mom, I want to call people, but when we do our Alice drills, it's stay down, low, be quiet, don't let people know that you're in here. And so I'm scared, and I want to talk to my mom, but you can't.
Did you know the student?
I knew of them or him, but I did not know personally.
And you saw one student injured?
I saw one student injured being taken out of the auditorium. But I only saw one injured, glass all over the floor and blood.
Overwhelming. Like, the pain in your heart is just overwhelming.
Did you ever think it could happen in a place like Perry?
No, not one bit. I moved here 7 years ago, and I really never thought that Perry would have an issue like this.
I'm so sorry.
I'm just glad they're okay. I really am. I'm glad they're okay.
What was that phone call?
Actually, it was a text message this morning from my daughter, and it was absolutely horrifying. Thank goodness. One of the worst moments of my entire life, but the best phone call I got was saying that they were okay. I'm glad that they're okay. I just know that the kid posted on TikTok about it with the bag, and it was in the bathroom, I believe, here.
That he had a bag in the bathroom here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't even know the kid's name, but yeah, he's there.
It happened before school. Is it common for the students to kind of
hang out before class gets started
Yeah,
in the lunchroom?
hang out in the lunchroom a little bit before class usually starts, just to, you know, get ready.
Did you know anyone that was shot?
No, I didn't.
How do you think this is going to affect your friends during school going forward?
I feel like we're gonna have more security. Like we're gonna try to be more safer now.
But what do you think it'll be like when you return to school? If you return to school?
I feel like it'll be like shocking for the kids that saw that.
So, can I ask why you returned back here?
For the interview to see what was going on. Because I didn't really know who got hurt or anything.
How are you feeling?
Still shocked still.
And then what are your other classes?
Yeah, I mean, I think all my friends said they're all okay, but they said that they can't believe what's going on because like, they're also shocked because it's never happened in Terry.
Today was your first day back, right?
Yeah.
Could you say and spell your name, please?
Samuel Hernandez, SAMUEL, HBRNANDEZ.
What can you tell us about your principal, Mr. Marbury? What kind of guy was he?
He's a pretty good guy who supports us in the sport, come and watch us, I do play and everything. Good principal.
You play sports?
Yeah. I play football, I do wrestling, I do track, and I do baseball.
And what year are you?
I'm a junior.
Has there been any communication from the school on when you guys return?
No, not yet. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Where were you at again during the shooting? What happened this morning?
I was just like about to walk in, what's called, the teacher comes out saying like this is not a drill, there's a shooter in the building, and so she escorts me out. I go run to the parking lot, call my mom to come pick me up.
You live near her?
Yeah.
That's fine.
What are your emotions like now? You know, it's been a couple hours. How are you kind of like processing?
I'm still trying to like, this like doesn't seem real. Like I'm just kind of like, this is crazy.
We are following breaking news right now in Dallas County. A huge law enforcement presence is surrounding Perry High School.
This has been unfolding for the last 45 minutes or so in Dallas County. Authorities are calling it an active situation. Again, this is in Dallas County around the middle and high school there in Perry. Our live pictures are coming from the scene just in the last couple of minutes, and you can see all the squad cars, ambulances, county deputies, and other officers from the surrounding area surrounding Perry High School and Middle School. This all started unfolding, Alex, about 45 minutes ago.
Perry High School has about 573 students. This is the first day back to class for those students grades 9 through 12 at the high school. Reporter Alyssa Gomez is on scene now. Alyssa, what can you tell us about what you have seen so far?
Alex, Eric, I can tell you just on the way here, we saw multiple ambulances and police cars zooming by us. They were from West Des Moines, Clive, Urbandale, just hordes of ambulances passing by us on the highway. We don't know if anyone's hurt currently or who is in the school. These students are just coming back from holiday break, so we're going to work to get some more information on the situation. But again, this is an active shooter situation, and that's as far as we know right now. We'll bring you more updates as soon as we can. Live in Perry, Alyssa Gomez, KCCI 8 News, Iowa's news leader.
Alyssa, before you go, paint the picture of what exactly is going on around you. We've heard that the streets surrounding the school are blocked off. Are you seeing parents? Are you seeing students? Are you seeing officers? What are you seeing as you look around from where you are right now?
We do see several of the streets around us blocked off, and there are several community members and parents coming out in their cars parked around. Earlier, there were students reuniting with their parents, kind of huddling to stay warm. We heard that there were kids getting turned away from the school as they were arriving. Again, still just working to confirm as much information as we can possible, but we will bring you more updates.
And CNN, just 3 minutes ago, CNN's Evan Perez is saying nationally on CNN that the shooter at the Perry High School shooting is dead. That's according to law enforcement officials. Earlier, Dallas County Sheriff Adam Infante said that the shooter had been identified but had been declined to share any more details. That just went out by CNN 3 minutes ago.
ANTE, I'm the sheriff here in Dallas County. I'm joined by our state, local, and federal partners here at the Perry High School. This morning at approximately 7:37 a.m., we had a Sears radio activation at the high school, which indicated an active shooter situation. An officer first arrived within 7 minutes of that activation and located multiple gunshot victims. We're still unclear of exactly how many are injured or what the extent of those are, but we're working on that right now. There is no further danger to the public. The community is safe. We're just now working backwards, trying to figure out everything that happened and make notifications. There'll be another update later on today. It's still very early. This happened at approximately 7:37 this morning. School didn't start yet, luckily, so there was very few students and faculty in the building, which I think contributed to a good outcome in that sense. But we'll have more information later on this afternoon. We will not be releasing any more information in the meantime. So please be patient with us so that we can talk with these victims and their families and try and figure out what happened. We won't be answering any questions today either, for right now. We'll let you know later on this afternoon, what time we'll be meeting back with you again, and we hope to provide more detail then.
So can we, just to be clear, you don't have a number of people who were injured in this?
We're still working on that.
Have you identified the shooter?
Yes.
What's their current status? Are they alive or?
We'll get to that later on this afternoon.
Can you confirm if the shooter was a student of the school?
I can't confirm that right now.
Can you confirm any deaths?
Is there
No,
a
not right now.
reunification center for families and students right now?
Great point. The reunification center has already been established, and at most of those, I think all the kids have been reunified already. So we're good in that area. Thank you.
Were there any faculty members that were hurt?
I can't answer that question yet.
Have you made any applications for arrest?
Can't answer that question yet either.
We'll take no further questions at this time. We'll see you this afternoon.
Sorry, just want to make sure.
I will let you know. We don't know.
Iowa Department of Public Safety will push out a message as far as location and time of the next press conference.
Okay.
So if you go to the Iowa Department of Public Safety website, it'll be posted there probably
Shortly after noon.
Shortly after noon. I'm sorry?
Any surveillance video available?
There's nothing more that we're going to be able to answer right now. Thank you.
That's one of the big pieces that makes the response successful, is that you have the interagency cooperation, you have interagency training that begins months and years before you have an incident like this. It's a sad situation that we have to prepare for. If you're not ready and if you're not planning, you're behind, because what we see today and what we've seen in the past is that no community is immune to this, and that you depend on that response from those first responders. And we train with all the agencies here in Central Iowa. It's replicated over and over again, and there's a very strict script that you follow so that everybody knows what you're doing when you get there.
Right, we're talking about kids, and like you said, something you have to prepare for, but never want to be in this situation. But Sergeant Parizek, can you confirm or tell us how much of a role Des Moines Police is playing in this situation right now?
We reached out right away and offered whatever resources they need, so we don't have right now an actual list of that. I've been asked to provide some assistance. I'm going to do that. We're there to support them with whatever they need, just as they've been there for us in the past. And that's one of the things that kind of sometimes gets overlooked, is the piece that, you got parents that are first responders, and you have friends of these kids, particularly in small communities. So there's a response that is both head and heart, and we can guarantee you that there has been probably the swiftest response you can imagine, just like you've seen it when we have these types of incidents, unfortunately, in our communities.
Paul, we know that the work together is so important on this, but we also know that a key part to something like this is everybody you see there on the screen is walking and looking for answers. The police, the parents want answers, the students want answers, the neighbors want answers. At the same time, talk about a law enforcement angle of wanting to provide that information as quickly, as smoothly as possible, at the same time making sure you have your ducks in the row so people aren't unnecessarily worried. That is a challenge for a police officer in a position like yours or the officers up there on the ground, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a huge challenge, and Alex nailed it when she said you don't want to facilitate the spreading of false information or rumors. And it's just the nature of the beast that things that you learn right in the moment, you sometimes find mean something different later, or maybe something that you saw or somebody said they saw something isn't exactly an accurate representation of it. They may recall that, they may recall seeing something and that was their perception, but there might be a piece that they missed along the way. So the investigation is going to be huge, and we always ask everybody just be patient. We want to tend to families first and the victims first, and then we'll start going from there.
There is a protocol, there is a procedure, and being careful with information. And again, because we are also talking about high schoolers, this is at the high school. Early in the morning on their first day back, a shooting at one of our local high schools. So being careful and understanding the information that is coming. And with the power of our team and our eyes on the ground and the video that you are seeing live right now, that comes with the understanding that you have to be patient, like you mentioned, Sergeant Parizic, because we are seeing this in real time. It has not even been 2 hours since this happened, which is still very early in an investigation.
Yeah, and again, things are developing and they're going to move fast. If you can imagine the task in front of those first responders, their first is to go in there, take care of the shooter if that needs to be taken care of, get those victims help, and then you have to go through that entire school and make sure that you don't have maybe an unknown still there. So that has been ongoing. This has been a constant process.
Sergeant, you're cutting out just a little bit, but if possible, we want to talk about how different agencies practice work together. Unfortunately, this is a situation we've seen play out across the country, and every situation is a little bit different. That being said, once you go through all these situations, whether they are in Uvalde, Texas, or out in Connecticut, or down in Florida, wherever the situation is, or unfortunately here in central Iowa, there are lessons to be learned each time. Talk about that sharing of information in the aftermath and how that goes to perfecting and getting a response better when something like this unfolds, because no one could have predicted this happening today. At the same time, when you practice this, you have to be ready to know how to respond on every shift in every community, right?
Absolutely, and that's one of the things that came out of Columbine in Colorado, was that we immediately learned in law enforcement we need to change our response. We can't go to a scene, secure it, and wait for the SWAT. You have to have every one of your initial first responders locked in as the person that's the first one there is going through the door.